Whenever I see someone confident, I'm always striving to be just as confident as them. But where's the line between confidence and arrogance? Today we will dive into the differences between being confident and arrogant, whether confidence really is good and if arrogance really is all that bad, or if there even is a difference between the two at all, as well as look into the real-world effects that these two mindsets have in our day-to-day lives, the different ways we use it, whether for our benefits or detriment. And we'll also look into how we can better implement these advantages of these traits into our daily routine. But real quick, my name is Win, and I'm a guy who only just recently figured out what he wanted to do in life. But I was lucky enough to have a mum who supported me every step of the way. And I know that not everyone has that. That's why this channel exists, to share and grow with you guys using the things that worked for me. Now that we're done with the introductions, let's move on to the main show, shall we? First of all, what even is the difference? This is a question that on the surface level feels very easy to answer, but when you take a closer look, the answer suddenly gets a little bit more muddled. I find that it is the easiest to see the differences between the two when we look into some of the different attributes people use to describe these two emotions. Whenever I think of someone confident, I usually think of someone who's calm and grounded, someone who knows their own strength as well as their own limitations. Whereas when I think of arrogance, the first thing that comes to mind is impulsiveness and oftentimes anger. And when I started asking questions on why arrogance often resulted in anger, I think of the mindset I had when people called me arrogant. And what I see is the insecurities and flaws that I couldn't accept about myself. The fear of others seeing these flaws and judging me because of it. As a result, I put on a show of toughness, thinking that it was good to be resilient and that I needed to overpower my flaws. That I needed to prove that I was perfect. I have since learned that true confidence doesn't come from one's insecurities. In fact, it's almost the exact opposite. True confidence comes from the trust you have in your own skills and abilities. What's the need to prove to others that you're adept when all that matters is that you're skilled enough to get to your own goals? But simply knowing your own strength is only half of what being confident means. Being confident also comes from knowing your own faults and weaknesses and being able to accept that you're not perfect. No one is ever 100% perfect, and that's completely fine. Now that we know the difference between the two mindsets, let's ask a more important question. Why should we even care? The cost of arrogance is an expensive one. Arrogance can lead you to lose your cherished friends one by one. It can make it so that no one will want to be honest with you as they are unsure how you will be able to take it. As a result of this, you'll stop growing because you aren't able to accept that you have flaws. The entire history of humans is to better themselves from the failures of the past. And how will you continue to learn if your arrogance stops you? If we are able to be more confident in ourselves, the people around us will notice, and given enough time, they will start to build a stronger bond with you. Being confident will also give you a lot of internal peace. It will make your life happier as you're more content with where your skills are at this point in time. So what are the things we can do to stop our arrogance from overwhelming confidence? How can we improve our confidence without being arrogant? Being confident requires that you're okay with not being perfect. Your worth as a person shouldn't come from what other people think of you. You need to be willing to be comfortable with your own flaws, to know that they are there, to accept that it is a part of you. That doesn't mean that you should let it become your whole personality, but it does mean that you shouldn't be trying to force your way to overcoming these flaws. When you have learned enough, you will get over it eventually. You shouldn't compare yourself to others. It kills your confidence in your own skills and abilities. Everyone walks at their own pace. No one is exactly the same. If you're constantly looking at other people's roads, who's going to look at your own path? Who's going to be the one to push you in the right direction? Another thing to consider is your own ego. Instead of always thinking that you're right, you have to know that no matter how skilled you are, there are always people who know more than you. You have to be able to humble yourself and listen. Sometimes the advice may not apply to you, but other times it can be the very thing that you're looking for. But how will you know if you don't stop and listen? If you're able to accept these hard truths, I would say that you're 90% there to being confident. The final thing that I find very useful in building confidence is to look back constantly at your own progress. When I think back to how I was when I first started anything, I remember how bad it was compared to now, and I can't help but feel proud of my achievements. It helps me to feel more accomplished whenever I feel like I can't do anything, whenever life gets a little complicated. So what have we learned today? We learned that confidence and arrogance come from two different emotions. Arrogance comes from your insecurities, your need for others to see how talented you are. Confidence comes from trusting your own skill. It is the willingness to acknowledge all your strengths and flaws. Arrogance can harm you by blinding you from the truth, by stopping you from learning more. Confidence allows you to know that you only know so much, and that there's always more to learn. The ways we can improve ourselves is to accept that we aren't perfect, that we have flaws, stopping yourself from comparing your own progress with others, as well as humbling yourself to others to be able to learn more from them. I hope that you have learned a lot today and will be able to be more confident in your own abilities. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Whether confidence really is all that bad? Wait. As well as look into the real... And we'll also look into how we can better implement these. I find that it is the easiest to see the oh my god. I think of the mindset I had when people called me arrogant. Why did I do it in such a weird way? Oh man! Why motorbikes? Why? Your worth from a person. Which bird is doing that? Why?